Hi, my name's Neil. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a 46-year-old skateboarder and I started skating when I was very young, about 7 years old. Skated up until I was about 16, 17 maybe, and then stopped for 25 years. 6 years ago I decided I would like to start skating again, and I've been documenting the whole thing here on this YouTube channel. That probably sounds quite familiar to some of you, and hopefully you'll enjoy some of my videos and you'll relate to the whole journey I've been on. Recently I've been cataloguing the past year's worth of skateboarding. I filmed quite a lot of sessions and I've been going through month by month and just going through them, making videos to sort of document and pull those sessions together in a kind of month by month basis. If you're interested and haven't seen any of the previous videos, then there are links down in the description below. But today's video we are focused on August, so let's take a look and see what happened. Okay, so in most of my videos so far I've done probably 4 or 5 skate sessions per month that I've been filming. I actually usually skate maybe about 3 times a week, but I don't film every single session because it's just not worth it. There's not necessarily that amount of progress to warrant recording every single session. And August was a little bit different in the sense that I didn't really film any sessions at all except one. And that was actually a session that was something of a get-together, so quite a special event. Now the event was called London Calling, and it was actually something of a celebration or recognition of some of the original UK pro skaters in the 1970s. It was put together by some of the people that saw them as their heroes when they started up. So some of the guys that were pro in the UK around the sort of 80s and 90s, Steve Douglas, Don Brown, Bod Boyle, some others, they all got together and decided that they were going to create this celebration event to honour the 1970s pros from the UK that they didn't feel had the recognition that they deserved. And so those guys were looking up to the 70s pros as their heroes as they were growing up skating. And you know, as the torch was passed, those guys became pro themselves and now have the connections and the network to be able to put on something like a celebration and recognition for their heroes, which is a really cool thing. I think a lot of people in the UK could really relate to the fact that those sort of forefathers didn't get the recognition that they deserved, and so it was a really nice way of honouring those guys. So it all pivoted around an exhibition event. There was a gallery in East London where a lot of the photography and some of the guys that had kind of hoarded some old school bits of skate gear and memorabilia, they all came from 4 corners of the earth and all came together to exhibit all their bits and pieces and artwork, photography and stories. It all kind of came together in a gallery in East London, and I think the event was open for, I think, perhaps a month in all. And it kind of culminated on one weekend where I think it was the Friday, there was a forum presentation and Q&A session with some of those old school pros and people that were around the industry in the UK at that time. And also Tony Alva and Steve Van Doren came over, because one kind of pivotal moment for a lot of people was when Tony Alva came over to the UK on a kind of tour, and he did some sort of demos and such, and some of the UK pros joined him on that, and it was kind of a real pivotal moment and just stuck in a lot of people's memories as something that was a real standout moment in time. So it was good to have Tony Alva there and talking about his perspective coming from the USA and seeing what was going on here. And then there was a lot of the UK skaters, and it was good to hear their perspective and what was going on from their point of view. And I'll leave a link below for the actual Q&A session so that you can watch that. It was live streamed, but it had problems, and luckily they did actually record the whole thing and captured it so that they could edit later. So they have edited that together and it's now watchable on YouTube. So I will leave a link below if you want to watch that and see what went down. So that was the main focus event of everyone getting together. Most of the people in the crowd were all old school skaters that grew up around those times, and it was a real nostalgic trip for them. There was the get together at the gallery, perhaps on the launch night was the gallery thing. Yeah, the gallery get together on the launch night, then there was this forum thing, and then I think the next day there was another get together at various places. There was a Devo concert that a lot of the guys went to. Devo are quite sort of poignant band that were, you know, in the skate scene. Everybody listened to Devo. I think it was Devo's actually last ever concert in the UK, so it kind of all came together as well on that weekend. On the Saturday, there was supposed to be a get-together at Bay 66 skate park, so I went along there and barely anyone actually turned up, so I don't know quite what went wrong there, but there was a couple of guys there when I got there, and like me, they were wondering where everybody was. And then maybe 2 or 3 more arrived. Mark Sinclair was there, which I'd never met him before, and you know, he was just on the bowl and the mini ramp and some of the street bits, which was cool, but there wasn't really a session, which was a bit disappointing. So yeah, as I say, I don't really know what happened there. But in the afternoon, there was a get-together at South Bank, which is a kind of iconic London skate spot, and one of those places where kind of skateboarding really got going in the 1970s, because it has a lot of flat banks that were just part of the architecture. There's a few buildings on that side of the River Thames there that are considered modern architecture, but by today's standards it's not modern, but back then that was sort of modern architecture. So there were some flat banks and geometric shapes to the architecture, and so the early skateboarders kind of adopted that as the place to go skating. And so there was a get together there, and just from its cultural and historical point of view, and I think that's where most people were. So maybe most people kind of blew off the idea of going to Bay 66 and just saved themselves to go to South Bank. So I went there after Bay 66 and it was cool. There was a lot of people there, some people I knew, met some new people, and just kind of mingled and chatted to people. Steve Van Doren and Tony Alva were there, so I got the chance to meet Tony Alva, had a little chat with him. Can't remember exactly what about, but he was a very nice guy. Got a photo with him, you know, the standard kind of stuff. And there was a lot of photographers around just kind of soaking it up and taking pictures of stuff. Now, I didn't really get any photos apart from the one with Tony Alva of what was going on, so kindly one of the other guys that I got to know, Jono, he let me put some of his stuff into this video. So anything that's kind of cameras moving around or anything from South Bank or at the gallery, all of that stuff, that's all Jono's footage, so thanks Jono. Really, my footage is only the static camera at Crystal Palace. And then on the Sunday we did a skate session at Crystal Palace Skate Park. So if you watch my videos at all, if you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I skate at Crystal Palace quite a lot in the pool there. And there was a get together on that last day where everybody came together and skated in the pool, and it was a very well attended skate session. Lots of the old school guys were skating. People that hadn't seen each other for years all got together and were skating, and it was really great to be there and just witness what was going on. I am a little bit too young to have experienced and remember the 70s scene. I was born in 79, so I'm, you know, too young to have seen that. And I grew up kind of idolizing the guys that actually put the event on. So I was like that next generation, but it was really cool to see my heroes, as it were, as I was a kid, idolizing their heroes. It was really good to see that kind of step through and, you know, the torch being passed on. So that was really cool, and just to be a part of it, and, you know, just to get to know the history. You know, there's one thing that everybody should always do is know their history. So it was really good to witness it, be a part of it. I didn't get to go to the forum event because I was actually working, and I only got to go to the gallery a couple of weeks after, so I missed the actual get-togethers. But the one that really stood out for me was obviously the skate session. And so I filmed quite a lot of that skate session. I just left my GoPro running just to kind of capture as much as I could. And so that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to cut together as much of the video as I can and just show you what was going on. Tony Alva didn't come. He was going, I think he said to me he was going to Stonehenge, so you know, tourist trip. So Tony and Stephen Doran, they didn't come, but all the other kind of 70s pros that were around that weekend, they came over. Mark Sinclair didn't know, he had to be somewhere else, but the other guys were there, and also the guys that organised it. And one of those guys that organised it was Bod Boyle, who you may know was pro on Santa Cruz and kind of bit of a UK hero because there weren't that many UK skaters that made it pro. So like him and Steve Douglas and Don Brown, they all made it pro and they were all UK skaters. So it was good to meet those guys. I got the chance to have a good chat with Bod, which was really nice. And we talked about their new brand Opera, so that was kind of cool to sort of find out what was going on there. Now I did meet him at the South Bank get together on the Saturday, and then the Sunday was the Crystal Palace session, and I did ask him if I bought one of my Bod Boyle decks whether he would sign it for me, and he kind of laughed but kindly said he would, which was really nice. So I got that signed, and that's this deck here. That's kind of my favourite Bod Boyle deck. It's kind of known as the stained glass deck for obvious reasons. Try and fit it into the camera there, but yeah, it's kind of my favourite deck from that time, and it's kind of iconic, the graphic alone, but I really like the shape, kind of square tail and everything. But he signed it for me there. You know, it's kind of indicative of his personality. You know, he was a little bit bashful about the whole thing, and you know, he did a very small signature there, and you know, he's very understated and you know, no ego at all. So he's such a cool guy. But I was kind of expecting him to do like a huge signature, and it was just this little one there, but it's so cool of him to do it for me. Sorry, Bod, for embarrassing you. I think everybody fanboys a little bit about their heroes of the past. You know, it's great to get to meet him and all the other guys. But anyway, let's get into the footage of the Crystal Palace session. I chopped it up as best I could. There was an awful lot of footage, an awful lot going on, and my camera was just static the whole time, so it's not necessarily very interesting, but I tried to kind of zoom into various bits that were going on. Unfortunately, I wasn't really pointing it at the deep end of the bowl where there's some good stuff happened. The lens wasn't wide enough to sort of cover the whole thing without having it much further back out the way, and then that would have made it hard to see everything. You know, sorry I didn't capture particularly well, but there's a lot of cool things happening. So let's take a look at that footage.
Another year, wouldn't it? take you went to all the stuff to the other.
I didn't go to it all. I went to South Bank. Because of work, I couldn't go like Thursday and Friday. Really good at the South Bank because
So there you go. I think that kind of wraps up everything that I can think of about that weekend. It was such a good event. I can't wait for the next one. You can check out the web pages and things for London Calling. I'll leave the links below. And just to say that the whole exhibition thing has now moved from the UK to the USA, and it's actually being set up in the Skateboarding Hall of Fame. It's the same ethos. It's all about recognising the early UK skaters and, you know, the influence that they had, but also the influence that they got from the USA. So it's, you know, it's crossing borders in the sense of the influences. So yeah, if you're interested, you can go and see that exhibition as it moves to the Skateboarding Hall of Fame. Big congratulations to the guys being inducted into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame off the back of this London Calling thing. So it had such a positive impact that some of the guys from the UK got their induction to the Skateboarding Hall of Fame, and I think there's an event coming up to kind of signify and celebrate that. So well done to everybody, well done to the guys for organising this whole event. It was amazing. I don't think anybody can really convey how amazing it was. I think today skateboarding in the UK has matured enough that people don't necessarily realise how it all began. You know, the 70s is obviously where it really kicked off, that first wave, but there was a massive boom in the 80s and 90s here as well. I think by now it's matured to the point where perhaps people don't necessarily know those early stories. I hope you enjoy watching the skate session as much as I enjoyed actually taking part. I'm the one in the Bones Brigade yellow t-shirt with the blue helmet, but there's a lot of real legends that got back on the board even just for this event. Anyway, that's enough for now. Thanks for watching. I will catch you again soon. Take care.